Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to tackle the first installment of the wrap series. I'm no wrapper of any sort, and wrapping vehicles is no different. So I ordered some eBay wrap, and let's see how it goes on a few interior pieces firstly. Let's get busy. So we're going to start with the interior pieces, and then we're going to follow it up with the duckbill, maybe the back hatch and the hood. So let's start with the interior pieces today, and let's go into the garage. So I tried to do this once without basically watching any videos or doing anything. I just tried to have at it, and it didn't turn out well. I've torn some of it off. So I've now watched a lot of videos, and I think I can do this a lot better. And I didn't do a video on it before because I knew it wasn't going to turn out well. But I have this tool. It's just like a little plastic pry tool. And all we're going to do is basically pull this up a little bit from the boot, and it's going to come off. And then the whole thing is going to pull off here. So I've got this Phillips head, and I'm just going to take this off like this. So there's a bolt on each side, and you're just going to remove those two bolts. Basically the whole ashtray assembly, cigarette lighter assembly will pop out of there. There's a couple of tabs up here. And last time around I broke one of them, but that's okay. So now all you're going to do is take a little screwdriver and get up under these tabs and push them out. So what I'm going to do today is rewrap all these pieces that were not wrapped before, and there's actually no bolts in these, so these will pull out too. Or you can tell it's just starting to bubble. I can push it back down with my hand, but I don't know if you can tell, but there's a crease right here. The rest of it looks okay. The back side does not, and that is not proper. So I did these with no prior knowledge. I didn't watch a video. I didn't do anything. I just wanted to do it. But now I kind of have a better idea of what's going on. I've watched a lot of videos on wrapping. So this is going to start out in sort of a series, and we're going to do, I think when you're starting to wrap, like a couple of small interior pieces like this is kind of the way to go, just to get a feel for how it stretches, if it stretches. And, and so we'll do these pieces, and then I think we'll do the duck wing or the duck bill on the back, and we may even do the hood in this. Since I'm just learning how to wrap, I just ordered some eBay carbon fiber wrap. They might be a good or a bad thing. It's probably a bad thing. For this, the boot already slipped out, but you just pull these tabs back and pull the frame out, and it'll come right out, basically. Just like that. So, and that'll come out too. And you don't really need that right now. I replaced this boot a while back. You can get these. It's a nice upgrade. I chose the Momo boot because it has a Momo steering wheel. You could have there's Bride boots. There's pretty much a lot. So you can get these. This one was like $10. It's a nice little upgrade, especially if your factory boot is in bad condition like mine was. But you can get these for $10. So I tried to do this once. I peeled most of it off already, but you can tell that I did not do a good job and didn't know what I was doing at all. So hopefully this time it's going to go a little better. I know a little more about what I'm doing now. So second time's the charm, hopefully. But when you pull these off, there might be a bolt in here. Mine are gone. So I think the previous owner had these off as well. But you could tell that this one has a crease in it. I didn't preheat it. I didn't post-heat it. I didn't do anything but wrap it, and you can tell by the results that
it's not great. It's not clean, it's not neat, it's horrible. So hopefully this time we're gonna do a little better. I've watched some videos and hopefully it'll help you too. We just bought some eBay wrap to practice, but I do recommend you buying quality wrap, but maybe not for your first time. We'll see you in the garage. So here's the wrap. It's ezautowrap, but it looks pretty good. I mean, there's a protective film on top of it to protect it. You can see that. I'm not sure how, let's see how sticky it is. I haven't even looked at this. It's moderately sticky. It's not super sticky, but it seems like it would do the job. So I've heard this doesn't really stretch very well. So we're gonna find out, but we're gonna start with some pretty easy pieces first. And I think like that's the way to go for sort of beginners, like me and maybe you. To get this much wrap in Avery or 3M, it was around 150 bucks. And I think I paid around 40 for this, 38 I wanna say, and it was 40 all in or something. So for someone that might screw it up, this isn't a bad thing. And if you can wrap with this, I feel like you can wrap with something more expensive. So once you kind of get into it, you can switch to a much better quality wrap than this. There it is. I don't know if you can see that, but it doesn't look bad. Even though this is pretty clean, I'm still gonna clean it up. Make sure this adheres good and stays. I'm gonna clean it. I'm gonna clean it with some isopropyl alcohol. Make sure there's no grease on it. So for this, I'm just gonna cut a slit in the wrap in a Y section. I think you can see that there, right there. There's a Y and a slit and another little upside down Y. And I did the same for the ashtray part. And now we're just gonna heat it and make sure that there's no air bubbles at all going on. And this piece will be done in it. If you heat it before you try to stretch it, a lot easier. Okay, so I'm gonna get this all flattened out and just basically just keep working it all around, cutting it out. And when I'm ready, now that we have the material laid down fairly smoothly, we're going to heat it to make sure it stays in place. And this material advertises heat activated adhesive. So we'll see how this goes. But as you can see, it went on pretty good. There's not very many air bubbles, if any, and doesn't stretch as well, but it does okay. So now that it's post-heated, I'm just going to turn it over and cut the excess away, basically. And you should use a very sharp razor blade. I'm just using these tools that they gave me. I'm not even using my own stuff. I'm just using the tools that they gave with the kit. And since I'm new at this and I don't trust this wrap, I'm going to leave a little bit more than I probably would or should, just in case I got to reposition it or whatnot, but I'm going to get rid of most of it here. So there it is. I cut the extra off. It looks pretty good. Looks a lot better than my last try. So because these pieces sit next to each other, I'm going to try to match up the way the wrap goes so it kind of all goes the same way. So I'm going to match up the pattern. So basically, again, I'm going to clean off the piece with some isopropyl alcohol, make sure there's no grease on it, and make sure it sticks. Some of these subpar wraps come with adhesion promoter, and I don't really want to use it. So I cut the piece out for this molding piece I'm going to wrap, and all we're going to do is pull the backing paper off. I'm going to pull a corner, and then I'm just going to lay it down in the where I think is right, which is right about here. And then in the interest of keeping it clean, I'm just going to pull the backing paper so I don't attract any dirt whatsoever. Be careful that you don't do that, as when I started to lay it, I missed. So I'm going to have to pull that back up. This material has a protective film on it, and it does not stretch. Before you start stretching it, you want to pull the protective film off. And you can see it starting to bubble up. It's not hard to get a hold of. So just pull it right off of there. So I was able to get the two ends, but the curve in the middle is the problem. So I'm cut a couple of cuts, and I'll probably have to go in more, but now I'm going to heat it, and hopefully it's going to just bend into place. Just like this. And a heat gun would be better, but a blow dryer will work. And you can see that I was able to get it around the curve pretty well. Just like that. And it was close, but it was my cutting, not the wrap itself. So this is what it looks like next to the old one, new one. It came out pretty darn good. Very flat. Let's see how much I'm sure the edges are gonna come up, but for 30 bucks on eBay, it's not bad.
So that's gonna about wrap it up. No. So that's gonna finish the video. No. So that about does it for me on the wrap video. We successfully wrapped these interior pieces. It looks pretty good, and there's a couple air bubbles. It's not perfect, but I think that has more to do with the wrap than my actual technique wrapping the pieces, if that makes sense. Till next time, thanks for watching.